that you want to set. Then how to use this? You can use it to the any element that you want, but by using the class attribute. So to the element to which you want to apply these styles, for that element, within that element you need to take an extra attribute as a class, followed by the name that you have defined here for the id attribute. That means these styles, wherever you are going to use for the that particular element, the content of that element will be applied with these styles. Am I clear? Is it so? Okay. So coming to the class selector, then coming to the next one is the id selector. So as with the class selector, you are going to start with the period notation. Here in this id selector, you are going to start with the hash symbol followed by the any name again, right? So don't get confused here, these both are the one and the same here, but the two different ways, the syntax is going to be different. Here you are going to start with the period, that is the dot followed by the any name. Here in this case you are going to use the hash symbol followed by the any name, and the rest of the things is going to remain same. So these things, if you need to use it within the style element within the head section, or else you can take them as a separate css file. But how to apply them? As with the earlier selector, that is class selector, where you are going to use the class attribute within the element where you want to use. In this case you are going to use the id attribute where you want to use these styles. So id is equal to the value being the name that you have given while creating these styles here. Okay. First I'll discuss all the syntax, then I'll discuss the examples and the execution. Okay. So follow to that, the attribute selector is there. So what is this attribute selector? So all of you know that we so far we have discussed the so many basic elements, right? So all the elements that we have discussed, in some of the elements you might have come across with the attributes that you have used. For example, to the image element we have used the two attributes, that is the source attribute and the title attribute, right? So these are not the attributes which are going to be created at the time of the style creation. Instead, these are the attributes which we usually use while using the elements in the HTML. So suppose if you are able to, or if you wish to apply the styles only by using the attributes which are used by default with the any of the HTML elements, then that kind of selector is said to be as the attribute selector. So for example, in this case, you can see here the HTML page has been created to include the three images. So all of you know that the image is going to use the two attributes, source and the title. And I hope you know that the why the title is used over there, right? So since you by using this attribute you want to create this style, that means wherever this title is going to appear as an attribute within the any element in the HTML part, so at that position or to that content these styles will be applied. So how to create that? Take the attribute name within the square bracket, followed by the flower bracket, and then you can define the all the properties that you want to set, right? So here they have taken the cursor as an attribute, padding bottom, border bottom. Don't worry about these properties, we are going to discuss them as we complete these selectors, right? So right now you just concentrate on how you are going to create the styles, or what are the different ways that you can use, that is these different selectors that you can use for creating these styles, right? So using this attribute you have set all these properties, and where is going to be applied, since it is not a element specific, it is a attribute specific. Wherever this attribute, that is the title attribute, is going to appear in the HTML element, to that content these styles will be applied. Okay, so you can see here three images has been introduced, and three each image element have the title attribute. That means for wherever the title attribute is going to appear, to that content these styles will be applied. Okay. So attribute selectors, there are the different ways how you can use the attribute selector, right? So within the square bracket, a specific attribute has to be mentioned. For example, as shown in the earlier example, title has been used. So what does this will do? Matches any element with the title attribute, right? So within the square bracket, along with the name of the attribute, if you use the equal to symbol, right? So what does it does? A specific attribute with a specific value is used. For example, you can see here um, a title has been used is equal to post from this country, right? So what does this is going to do? This is going to match with the title attribute anywhere with any values to this attribute, but here in this case it is going to match to the anchor element which has the title with this value, that is posts from this country. Only at that position the styles will be applied. So it is left to you how you want to use, right? So suppose if you want to restrict the application of the styles with the specific value to the any attribute, at that time you can go for using the equal to symbol for that title along with the value where you want to apply these styles, right? So in this case where it is going to be used with this notation, that is tilted with equal to. So what does this is going to do? A specific attribute whose value matches at least one of the words in a delimited list of the words. For example, here you can see title tilted is equal to countries, right? So if the whatever may be the value of the title, or no matter how many times it has been repeated in the HTML elements, so if it come across this word within that entire title, the styles is going to be applied over there. That means wherever you want to apply the styles with specific to a single word to be matched with the any other matching along with this countries, at that time you can go for using the this kind of the symbol within the attribute, right? So the next one is cap along with to equal to. So all of you know for what purpose the cap is used, if you remember properly about the um, class specifier, right? So beginning, it is going to indicate that it is a beginning. That means you want to match the attribute value only to the beginning, right? So suppose if you have the like this entire sentence, so in that case if you want to restrict to the first word to be matched, at that time you can go for using this kind of this symbol. So in this example you can see here anchor h reference cap is equal to mail to. That means it matches the any anchor element whose h reference attribute value begins with mail to. So no matter whatever it have after this mail to, but if it begins with the mail to word, then the styles will be applied over there, right? So star is equal to the next kind of the selector that you can use is star equal to a specific attribute whose values contains a substring, right? So here in this case it matches the any element whose source attribute contains the somewhere within the text flag, right? So here it is a beginning. In this case if you want that this particular word is going to appear anywhere within the entire value of the source attribute, right, as a substring, right? So in that case you can go for using the star equal to, right? So the last one is dollar equal to. So as in case with the cap which matches with the beginning of the word to the any value to the attribute, here this dollar equal to is going to match to the end, right? So matches, as in this example, matches any anchor element whose h reference attribute ends with the text as a dot pdf, right? So it is left you should be able to know all these notations. So whenever you are creating these styles using the attribute selector, so you can use the all these kind of the facilities that is being provided. If you are not, if you doesn't want the all the elements to be matched with the attribute, you can, if you want to put a restriction with a specific value, you can go for using the equal to. If you want to put a restriction with a specific word, you can go for using this. And if you want to put a restriction on matching only the first word of the value to the attribute, you can go for using the cap equal to, and to the substring star equal to. And if you want to match a word at the end, you can go for using the dollar equal to, right? So as you have done here, so instead of title, you can here take it as a equal to, title equal to with this value here itself, or else title cap equal to, title star equal to, or else title dollar equal to. So whichever you wish to use, you can go for using it here while defining. So that is going to match against the specific attribute values within the elements. So is everyone clear with the attribute selector? Okay. So the next one is the pseudo element selector or the pseudo class selector. So in the previous examples, we have seen that we have applied or we have created these styles to either the specific element or to the attribute, or by using the class or the ID attributes, isn't it? But here the pseudo element or the pseudo class selector is not going to the specific element. Instead, based upon the action that is being done by the user while using the HTML pages, at that time the styles will be created. Okay, so while the user interaction with a specific HTML page, so based upon the kind of the interaction that is being done by the user, at that time the specific styles will be applied. So the best example for that is probably for the anchor element over here. Right. So in this example, you can see here these are the different. I'll show you with an example as well, but just check out how does it is going to make difference based upon the interaction here. Right. So the types of the selectors that you can use as a pseudo element selectors are the link element along with the anchor. So when does this is going to be activated? Select the links that have not been visited. I think you might have come across with the visuality whenever you have used the any website. For example, if you have used the any website and if you have visited the some of the links within that, so the visited links are going to appear in different color, whereas the not visited links are going to appear in the different color, isn't it? Have you come across with a such situation? Have you experienced this thing?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Isn't it? So that is with respect to the this kind of the CSS pseudo selector. So the next one is visited selects the links that have been visited. So just to make it appear in a different color if it has been visited, at the time you can go for using the this selector to apply these styles. Right? So the focus in the sense it is with respect to the text box, that is especially with the form. Whenever you want to fill the form, and if the user is going to click on a specific text box, so at that time if you want to highlight that or if you want to make it appear differently just to show the user that the user has placed the cursor over here to give the input, so at that time you can go for using the colon focus selector. Okay, so right now you just understand for what purpose each of these selectors are used. So when I show you the example how to use them, you'll get to know. When I show you the output for that, you will get to know how does it is going to the make difference or how does the styles will be applied over there. Okay, so the colon hover selects the elements that the mouse pointer is currently above, right? So whenever you are using the mouse pointer on the HTML pages, if you place it on any link or if you place it on any radio button, suppose if you want to make it highlight or if you want to just show to the user to appear it differently to indicate where the cursor is pointing on the screen, at the time you can go for using the colon hover as a selector type to apply the style. Okay, so colon active selects an element that is being activated by the user. A typical example is that link being clicked. So you have not yet visited and if you are ready to click on it, so while clicking itself, at the time the link has to show the different color. So how that style is going to be applied, that is by using the colon active, right? So the colon check is mainly for the checkbox and the radio boxes. I don't know how many of you know about the checkbox and the radio box, but every one of you might used it while using the internet or while filling the any online forms, right? So you will come across the various radio buttons and the checkboxes where you need to click, right? So in that case, if suppose if you have selected the any option, at the time it has to give the different appearance, which is done using the colon checked, right? So follow to that here, these three are first child, first letter, first line. So these are actually not based upon the interaction. Instead, if you have created the any text, right? So or if you have taken the nested elements, right? So in that case, if you want to make the first child under the parent to appear differently, you can go for using the this selector colon first child, right? So, and these two are with respect to the textual content that you are going to create. Either it may be done with the division or the paragraph element, right? So, suppose within the paragraph, if you want to make the first line to appear differently, or if you want to apply the specific style to the first letter, at that time you can go for using the this selector, that is first hyphen letter. And if you want to use the first line to appear differently, you can go for using the colon first line element. Okay, so right now you just understand for what purpose these are used. I'll show you how to use them and how does it is going to make difference when you run that HTML page. Okay, so is everyone clear with these types of these selectors? These are the pseudo element class selector. Okay, so basically this is how you are going to define the pseudo element selector. The pseudo element selectors are used when you want to create the styles to be applied based upon the interaction done to the HTML pages by the user. Instead of static appearance, whenever any interaction is done, at that time you want to apply the special styles. At that time, you can go for using the pseudo element selector. And what are the different ways for doing that? These are the different options available where you can create the styles over here. Okay, so is everyone clear with this? Is everyone clear with this? At least you understood theoretically when these selectors can be used.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so I'll show you how to use them. First, I will show you the coding part, and then I'll show you the execution over here. Okay. Okay, so this is the class selector. I think I have shown this example yesterday only, right? So we'll start with the ID selector. Okay, so this is the example of the ID selector. Is this screen visible here?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay, so please do concentrate simultaneously. It is not possible for me to show you the code as well as the execution in the web page. Why? Because when I execute this program, I need to share the web page instead of the screen. At that time, probably the code will not be visible to you. For that, at least try to remember the what kind of styles are being used, so that when you see the output, you will be able to understand, right? So for using the ID selector, I told you you have to use the hash notation within the style element. You can see here the style element has been defined within the head section, and within that style element, how to use the ID selector, use the hash symbol and give the any name of your choice. Not restricted to only this name. You can give the any name of your choice followed by the braces, the flower braces, and within this flower braces you can use the any properties that you want to set here. So in this case, you can see here the font style property has been used with the value italic, and the color of that text should be in the red color, right? So how to use that? This, as I told you, the both the ID selector as well as the class selector are not the element specific styles to be applied. Instead, once you define them, you can use those selectors to the any element of your choice within the body section, right? So but how to use them, how to use the ID selector, you can see here the H1 has been not applied with the any styles. That means it is not going to be applied with the any styles. Here in this division, you can see here the styles has been applied. How to apply them? Using the ID attribute. If you have used the hash symbol, then use the ID attribute. If you have used the dot symbol, use the class attribute to apply that style, right? So to this division element, that means the division element has been started here and it has been closed here, right? So to this division element, whatever the elements that you cover, that is going to be applied with these styles what you have defined, that is italic and red in color. So how to use them? ID is equal to the name what you have defined in this head section, this one, latest comment, right? So ID is equal to latest comment. And to which elements it will be applied? Since it is a parent element under which you have the two paragraph elements here, both these two paragraphs along with the time will be applied with these styles here, right? So in the rest of the cases, nowhere else it has been used, or none of the elements has been applied with these styles. That means only to these two paragraph elements along with this time as well will be applied with these styles here. Okay, so let's run this program. So try to concentrate on the how many elements has been used here. H1 has been used, division has been used, paragraph has been used, and again two paragraphs have been used, but only these two lines is going to be applied. Why? Because you have applied to the parent element of these two means. So whenever you apply to the parent element the any styles, by default the styles will be applied to its children also. Okay. Is it visible? The output. Is it
ma'am.
right? So you can see here the H1 is this reviews which has been not applied with the styles, and these two are the one which has been applied with the styles, where you have applied the styles in the division element, right? So under that division you have these two text into the two children, that is the paragraph element, so which has appeared with the italic in the red color. So the next two has are going to be considered by default, which has been not applied with the any styles. So is everyone clear with this example now? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So coming to the next one, attribute selector here, right? So the same example I have taken from your book. So in this, as I told you, so suppose if you wish to apply the styles based upon the attributes that are used within the HTML elements, so you can do that. So how to do that? If you are going to use it embedded, make sure that you use it within the style element only, but include the name of the attribute within the square bracket, followed by the follower braces, and followed by the all the properties that you want to set here, right? So cursor being the help, padding bottom is 3 pixel, border bottom is 2 pixel with a dotted blue, and the text decoration, it doesn't have the any text decoration over there, right? That means where these styles will be applied, it is going to be applied to the element wherever the title attribute has been used. So you can see here, to this anchor element also the title attribute has been used, and only to that the title attribute has been used. That means to this element the styles will be applied here there. Okay, so let's concentrate on the output again. So you can see here, so wherever the that title attribute has been used, to that you can see it. When I move that cursor over here, are you able to see the question mark with that cursor? Is that question mark visible with the cursor?
Yes, ma'am.
Right, so that is the result of the cursor property that you have set, that is with the help, right? So indicates with the help, and it has been applied with the style known as a border with a dotted border. So if you have clearly observed with the code that I've just explained you, so that is going to be appeared over here. Okay, so the color with the text is blue over there, and then you can see the padding with the bottom is 3 pixel. So that is not going to make much difference over here, because you have the very less content in that web page, and the border bottom is a 2 pixel with a dotted blue, isn't it? And you don't have the any text decoration over there, right? So this is how you can use the attribute selector. So whenever you want to apply the styles with the specific attributes that is used in the elements, you can go for using the this kind of the attributes here. Okay. So coming to the next example. Okay, so the pseudo selectors. So as I told you that the pseudo selectors are going to be used whenever any interaction is being done by the user. Okay. So right now you just concentrate on the how I have defined these styles and where they are going to be applied with this code. And once I execute, you just recall the styles that has been defined here. Okay. So you can see here the style has been defined with to the anchor element, and the property that you have set here, or the type of the selector that has been used here, is pseudo selector, which is the colon link. Suppose if you remember the for what purpose it is used, the selects the links that have not been visited, right? So at least you should know these things while using these selectors. You should know for what purpose each of these selectors are used. So based upon that only you will be able to define the styles for the purpose you wish to use it, right? So for the visited, I just want to make that link to appear as a red. Right. So for the, sorry, for the links which has been not visited, I just want to make that link to appear as a red. Right. So then you need not have to apply them explicitly. So whenever you create the links, by default these links are going to be applied with all these styles which are going to be making difference whenever the user is going to interact with these links. Okay. So you can see here the not visited links is going to appear with the red, and here to the same anchor element if it is visited. How to restrict it for the visited? Again, colon word visited, and what property I want to set here. So if it is a visited link, I want to make it appear with the green color, right? So hover in the sense if I move the mouse over it, so not at click or not at visited, if I just move the cursor on the any link, it has to change its color to the hot pink color, right? Suppose if I click on any link, so before it is going getting to the somewhere else, uh, just by clicking by the user it has to appear in the blue color. So how to define that with the colon active word or the property, right? So the focus in the sense, right now you are not aware with these elements because I have not at all discussed with the form elements, right? So these examples just try to analyze here. So when I start with the second module, there you come to know the elements related to the form creation, right? So right now you just understand here the input elements are the one which are used for creating the form element to take the input from the user, right? So input colon focus in the sense whenever the user is about to give the input in any of the text boxes, it should have the background color as a yellow, right? So input colon checked with it is with respect to the, as I told you, the radio buttons or the check boxes. If any option has been checked or the selected by the user, it should have these properties to be set. What properties has been defined here? So the radio button or the check box has to change its size. That is height of that button should be the 50 pixel, width of the that button should be the 50 pixel. Right. So followed to that, you can see here these two elements are the paragraph elements for which we have defined as the first child. And that is paragraph being a first child to the any of the parent element, right? So either it may be in the body section, either it may be in the division element. So here this is being a first child, not this is a parent child. So paragraph being a first child, if the paragraph is the first child to the any of the parent elements, so that has should have the background color as a yellow here, right? So another property is if the paragraph, the first letter of the every paragraph should have the font size as a 200% as compared to the rest of the default font sizes, and the color of this has been defined as a hexadecimal value. So we'll see in the output, so what color will be applied over here, right? So but the agenda here is paragraph with a colon first letter means, so the every first letter of the paragraph, any paragraph, no matter how many paragraphs that you have used in the entire HTML page, the first letter of the every paragraph should be set with these properties there. But here this paragraph is going to be the first child to the any parent element. That means I'll show you for which elements it is going to be applied this property, background color yellow, right? So you can see here the body element is a parent element under which you can see here the first child is paragraph, right? So for this it is going to be applied, and we'll see somewhere else anywhere it has the any other as of being the first child, right? So here you can see the division is a parent child under which this is going to be considered as the first child here. That means you have to understand wherever the paragraph element is going to appear as a first child, at that time it has to appear with the background color as a yellow here. Okay. So let's see the output of this one. Are you able to see this page? Are you able to see this? Okay, so you
Yeah.
can see here the first child, that is to the body element, is having the yellow background. And one more property that we have set for the every paragraph is the first letter should have the this color. I think this is somewhat with the purple or the lavender mixed color. And the first letter should have the 200% larger font size as compared to the rest of the element, right? So this has been applied here. And one more time is with the this element. Why? Because it has been taken into the division, the first child under the division element, right? So one more thing is, if I click on this is a input text. If you remember the code, I have taken it as a input colon focus, isn't it? So that is with respect to the text boxes that is created for the form element. And if I click on this, so you can see here it is going to appear as a yellow, to tell that the focus needs to be given if the user is going to click on the any text box to give the input. So if I switch to this, it is going to take over here. So this is based upon the interaction here. So wherever I'm going to click, the focus needs to be given to that. So how to take that, how to set that property, what kind of selector you need to use? The name of the element colon focus, followed by the all the properties that you want to set, right? So the one more property that we have set is with respect to the radio button or the check boxes. I told you that wherever you are going to click, so to whichever the radio button or the check boxes that you are going to create, so that has to, you can see here, these are the radio buttons. The one which is with the round color, sorry, round shape, it is a radio button. And the one with the square boxes, it is said to be as the check boxes. So what we have defined there, colon checked, right? So which is going to be applied for the radio buttons or the check boxes. And whatever the properties that we have set has to be applied once the user is going to click on that. So what property we have set? We have set to change the size, or else it has to appear much larger as compared to the rest of the options which has been not selected, right? So you can see here, if I click on this, I have a car. So if I click on this, you can see it has the checked box has been changed its size as compared to the rest. So if I click on this, even this also is going to change, right? So you can click the multiple options for the check boxes, but with the radio buttons, only one option can be checked over there, right? So right now the male has been checked, so that's why it is appearing. If I change that option, you can see that male is having the normal size, whereas I have checked with the female, so that's why the change of that has been changed, and the size of that radio button has been changed here. Clear? Is it clear with these properties? Okay, so coming to the link, I am audible, right? So you people are listening?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so with respect to the links over here, right? So as I told you, the links which has been not visited, those has to appear in the red color, isn't it? So the link which has been already visited, so I have already executed this web page and I have visited this link, so that's why it is appearing in the green color. And if I move the cursor over the any of the links, the property that has been set over there is it has to appear in the hot pink color, right? So you can see here, you people are able to see the difference of the change in the color here.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if I place the cursor over here, you can see it changes to the pink color, right? Suppose if I click, I have not yet released the click, so I am telling you it is a active, right? So if I just click on it, it is changing its color to the blue color, right? So these are not a proper links, or not the proper address has been given to these links. That is, this is a link 1 and this is a link 2. So that's why we are not able to switch to that particular address. But for this, I have given the proper address. If I click on this, it will take you to the Google page, isn't it? So if I go back, you can see the link of that this label has been changed, just to show that this link has been already visited. Okay, so is everyone clear with all these things? So one more thing, you can see whichever the content that you have created with the paragraph. So the first letter of the every paragraph, you can see it has been applied with the properties that has been set. That is, the first letter has to appear with the specific size, that is 200%, and with this color. You can see here all these letters are appearing with those properties which are the first letter of the every paragraph element. Is it clear? Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Or else do you have any doubt over here? Is it clear with this example? You got to know, don't worry about the name of the elements as a focus over here. So as I told you, we'll get to know about this focus element once we discuss the form concept in the next module here. So just to show you that how you can use these pseudo selectors to apply the styles based upon the user interaction, we have used these elements here. Understood? So got to know when does the colon link is used. The colon link is used for the anchor element to apply the styles when the other links which has been not visited, and visited colon visited is used to apply the styles for the visited links, and colon hover is the property that is used, or the selector that is used to apply the styles when you move the cursor over that link, and colon active is used for to apply the styles whenever you click some link, right? So colon focus is used on the input of the form element to give the focus on whenever the user is going to click on some element to give the input, and colon check is used for the radio and the check boxes to apply the styles whenever the user is going to select the some options from the radio buttons or the check boxes, right? So similarly the first child is not, see, first child or the first letter not necessarily to be used only for the paragraph element. You can use it for the any element of your choice. So the first child is going to refer whenever this particular element is being a first child, these properties needs to be set. And first letter in the sense, the first content of the first letter of the text content of this element needs to be applied with these properties. Okay. So is everyone clear with these things? Is everyone clear?
Yes, ma'am.
What about others? At least you can say yes or no, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so coming to the last selectors, the contextual selectors, right? So these selectors are based upon the styles to be applied based upon the parent-child relationship or the sibling or the descendant, right? So these are not the specific, not specific to the any element. These are not specific to the any attribute, neither specific even to the user interaction. So the styles that you are going to define here is with specific to the ancestors characteristics that we have already studied, right? So we'll see some of the examples here. You can see here the descendant selector, child selector, adjacent sibling, and general sibling, right? So what does this is going to do here is one, the examples for the each of these has been given here. So you can see here, suppose if you have the division element under which the p is a child element. So what does this is going to do if you are going to use this kind of the selector to be applied style? So what does this is going to do? Select a paragraph element that is contained somewhere within the division element. So this is not going to be the first child or the second child. Instead, so whenever you come across the division as a parent element, this is just an example I'm telling you, not restricted to the same elements itself. This is just an example here, right? So whenever you use the division as a parent element under which the paragraph should be the child, that means if you take these kind of the selectors for applying this test, that means it is going to be applied for the any paragraph element which is going to be anywhere within the division element, right? So follow to that the child. So it has to be used in this way: division greater than h2. So selects an h2 element that is a child of the division element. Okay. So h3 plus p, if you use the plus symbol, selects the first p after any h3, right? So if it is a adjacent elements, not to the parent-child relationship, suppose if you have the adjacent h3 and the p, it is going to select the first p if it is going to appear immediately after the h3, right? So if you use this notation, that is h3 tilted p, selects all the P elements that share the same parent as the H3. Okay. Now we'll see with here example. I have not created the file. Instead, you can try it by your own. Right. So you can see here this entire coding. So how does it is going to appear here? Right. So you can see here UL has been used, which is a parent element, and followed to that anchor link has been used, right? So that means all these A elements under the UL has to be applied with this color. So you can see here UL under which all these A elements has to appear in this color, right? So one more thing here, you can see hashtag main element with the time, and also the main with the time. Both the things has been applied here. So it is left to the browser which property it is going to be set here, right? So what is that hashtag main here? So you can see here the main ID, that means ID selector has been used to define it. So which has the value main, and under which you can see the time is a child element here. So which is going to be appeared with this color, or else you can see here time being a greater than main being a greater than time, which is tells that the time being a child to this parent, that is here to this division main and this time. So it is going to be applied either of these two styles over there. Okay. So coming to the next one, main, under which the division, main means under which you can see under this division you have the one more division element. So main division to this division, and to that P first child. So paragraph being a first child under these two parents, that is the grandparent, parent, and this first child. That is, this is grandparent with a main attribute, and one more division with this division element under which the paragraph element, this one. So this is going to be applied with this green color. Okay. So it is going to be left to you whether you want, where you want to use the contextual selectors. The thing is that you need to understand these notations and try to experiment with these things. So try to create these selectors using these notations and experiment how these styles can be, how these styles are applied, and how it is going to be varied over there. Okay. So with this, the all the six selectors has been discussed here. So my question to you again here is every selector clear to you people? Because this is the most important question that might be asked in your VTU examination as a theory question, right? So explain the different selector forms for which you need to remember these six selectors along with the few syntaxes, right? So in case if you have been asked all six together, try to answer them in brief with the proper example, right? So if you have been asked individually, like explain the pseudo element selector, in that case you should explain all these possibilities, that is link, visited, focus, hover, active, along with the examples. You should explain them in a theoretical description, right? So similarly, if you have been asked only regarding the attribute selector, you should be able to explain all these options, right? So in case if you have been asked like for the 12 marks, explain the different selectors supported for the CSS in HTML5, you should be able to explain the all the selectors with the all the options available over there. So depending upon the marks, decide how you are going to answer. If it has, suppose if it has been asked for only 5 marks, at that time you can in brief explain with only few of the options for the each selector. Suppose if it has been asked for the 10 to 12 marks, make sure that you explain the each selector with the all the possible options for it. Okay. So is everyone clear with the all the selectors, or else do you have any doubt with the any of these selectors which you want me to discuss once again? Yes. Say at least yes or no. If you want me to repeat any of these selectors, I will repeat it once again. Or else if you don't have the any doubts, I'll proceed with the further concept.
No doubts, ma'am.
No doubts? Okay. So how do styles interact, right? So for the interaction of these styles, the two terms has been specified here, the inheritance and the specificity. Okay. So I told you that there are the three levels of the styles definition, right? Inline level, embedded level, and even the external level, right? And there is no such a restriction that Just a minute. And there is no such restriction that you have to use the only one level of the style application. You can go for using the all the three levels at a time for the styles application. Suppose if you use all the three levels at a time, if it comes to the ambiguity, for example, if you have defined a style for the paragraph element in the embedded as well as the inline and even in the external file as well. So at that time, the browser, it is left to the browser that how it is going to decide. But how does the browser is going to determine, right? So the browser determines with the precedence level, right? So the one which is having the higher precedence will be selected, and which will be the having the higher precedence is, do remember this, right? So the inline level will always have the higher precedence as compared to the embedded, and even the embedded level will have the higher precedence as compared to the external file, right? So that means you just remember here that if you are, suppose if you have used the all the three levels of the styles to be applied, so first it will consider the first priority will be given for the inline level. Suppose if we have the styles defined for the paragraph element in all the levels, it will first consider the styles that is defined for the inline. And if suppose any styles has been not defined inline, then it will go for the embedded. If again, if the apart from the embedded, it will go for the external files over there, right? So coming to the inheritance, right? So for example, in this figure, you just see here how the files, how the elements has been defined. Within the HTML, you have the two sections, head and the body, and within the body you have the so many elements that you have created for this example here, right? So to the body, we have defined these many properties here. That means to this parent we have defined the so many styles, that is properties, font family, color, border and the margin over here, right? So under this body you can see here those so many elements has been defined here. That means whatever the properties that you have set for this body, by default it has to appear for the all of its children elements here, right? But within that also there are some restrictions that which properties can be inherited and which cannot be inherited, right? So the properties border and margin are not inherited, whereas the font family and color are inherited. That means these two properties will be set for the all the children elements under the body element, whereas these two properties cannot be inherited to its children element, right? So the properties which cannot be inherited, even though if you want to inherit them to these child elements, you can do so. And how to do that, you can see here. So you can see here within this division element. So within this division element, you can see the two paragraph elements are there. Right. So suppose if you are set as a properties for the division element as a font weight bold, margin 50 XL, border, right? So by default the font weight will be inherited to its children element, that is the paragraph element, right? Suppose if you want even these two properties as well to be inherited to this child element, in that case what you need to do is you need to define the separate property as a paragraph, and you have to just say border colon inherit, margin colon inherit. These two properties will be inherited with the values that you have taken for the parent element here. So child, this paragraph being a child to this division element, suppose few of the properties from the parent element which cannot be inherited. So if you want to inherit them explicitly, you can do that. How to do that? Take the name of the properties to that child element while defining the styles, and do not give any values. Instead, you just take it as a colon inherit. That means these values will be inherited from its parent element. You got an idea about the inheritance? Even if some properties cannot be inherited to its child element, you can make them inherit by defining with the child with the property set as the value inherited from its parent element. Okay. So coming to the specificity here. So coming to the specificity is the one which I just told you. That is how the styles will be applied if you have defined the styles in the all the three levels. Okay. So if you clearly observe this example, so you will get to know that how it has been applied. So first it is going to consider with the inline level, then it will go for the embedded level, and then for the external level, right? So this specificity concept, from specificity concept, I'll continue it in the next class. Okay. So within another 2 classes, this chapter will be completed. In turn, the first module is going to be completed. Okay. So soon after the first module, I'm going to begin with the second module. Before that, I just want you to start with your assignment, right? So I hope, just a minute.